Cheat on your wife with mine? I'll burn your life to the ground. Back in the early 2000s, I started noticing something was off with my wife. We had 2 young kids at the time, just 4 and 6. Old enough to talk, not old enough to filter what they said. They kept mentioning that they were spending time at my wife's parents' house. That wouldn't have been strange, except her parents lived 90 minutes away. And apparently, they were there 2 or 3 times a week. Basically every day she wasn't working at her part-time job. I asked her about it. She denied it. But she was never a good liar. So I decided to start tracking the mileage on her car. And sure enough, she was driving around 400 extra miles a week. Something was definitely going on. Then one day, I noticed a sticky note next to our computer. It had her AOL password written on it. I couldn't help myself. I logged into her email. What I found confirmed everything I feared. She had several emails exchanged with her college best friend. In them, she casually mentioned she was sleeping with one of her ex-boyfriends from high school. No shame, no remorse, just casual cheating. She even mocked the guy's wife for getting fat after having kids. That one really stuck with me. I printed out the emails and kept them, but I still wanted more details. So, I called a friend who was a cop. He referred me to a private investigator who used to be on the force. Ron was the real deal. I paid his retainer, gave him the emails, and told him everything I knew. Within a few weeks, I had a full report. Photos, times, dates, motel names, everything. The routine was always the same. She'd drop the kids at her parents' place. Then she'd meet this guy for lunch. After lunch, they'd head to some cheap motel. A few hours later, she'd pick up the kids and head home like nothing happened. That was it. I hired a divorce lawyer. I'd watched my own parents destroy each other with affairs, and I promised myself I would never let my kids go through that same hell. But I wasn't done. I asked Ron to find out more about the guy, and boy, did he deliver. His name was Bob. He was married with 3 kids. He worked as the VP of sales at his father-in-law's company. That little detail caught my attention. I had my lawyer draw up the divorce papers. I also had Ron make a few extra copies of his report. And I gave him one final task. The day my wife was served with the divorce papers at work, Ron paid a visit to Bob's wife. He showed her everything. The photos, the report, the truth. She looked like a genuinely kind person, and she deserved to know what her husband had been up to. What she did next was entirely up to her. My wife's cheating didn't have much legal weight in the divorce. But Bob's wife? She went scorched earth. She cleaned out their joint account, took the kids, and walked out. When her dad found out, Bob was immediately fired. Since her parents owned the house they were living in, Bob got evicted too. Their divorce was brutal. Fights in court, fights outside of court. At one point, Bob showed up at the house and started screaming at her. Her brother stepped in, broke Bob's nose. That led to restraining orders, police reports, criminal charges, even jail time. The whole thing just kept unraveling. For him, I tried searching for him online years later. Nothing. No social media. No trace. Last I heard, he left the state. Meanwhile, his ex-wife did just fine. She started working at her dad's company and eventually took over after he retired. As for me, I kept it civil with my ex for the kids' sake. We talked only about things related to them. Now that they're grown, we don't talk at all. I don't hate her, but she's just a name in the past now. She's important to my kids. And that's the only reason I care at all.